Welcome to All Talk, All the Time. Live from the city of the Big Mango, we bring you the All Talk Network, where free speech absolutists live. Ladies and gentlemen, worldwide, welcome to the All Talk production channel. And by way of All Talk production, this is the third episode, number 3 of Bangkok Bookies. I am your host, Big Joe. Of course, the star of the show is Boston Dave. But before we get into anything, folks, please like, subscribe, share, bang the notification bell, and also a special announcement starting next week. The Bangkok Bookies podcast will be available on Spotify. Let me say it again. The Bangkok Bookies podcast will be available on Spotify. So the YouTube channel, All Talk Productions, type that one word, condensed. Also on TikTok, All Talk Productions, one word. And starting next week, you'll catch the Bangkok Bookies podcast on Spotify. Now, on Spotify will be just Bangkok Bookies. All right, but we're going to get into our NFL picks. But first, we cannot go on without the shocking breaking news story of the NBA gambling scandal that has, within the past 48 hours, broke out. And Boston Dave, I want you to give your thoughts on this scandal. As of now, we have Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier being arrested in gambling inquiries, and so let's give your analysis, Boston Dave, on this.
This is Joe again. It's great to be part of. It's great to be part of All Talk Production, Bangkok Bookies. This is our third week and our third show. But like Joe said, this has been a rough couple of days for the NBA and the gambling industry. You know, we've all heard about stories in the past where, you know, players allegedly fix games. We had referees fixing games, but this goes very, very deep, simply because after the Supreme Court in 2017, 2018 overturned PASPA, which now made it legal for states to decide whether or not gambling was going to be legal or not on sports. Since then, 30 plus states have legalized online gambling in sports, and up until this point, you know, things were going smoothly. This is exactly what the side that was against sports betting was
afraid of,
was afraid of, and was pushing. And you got to be honest with you, this is a big one. All right. Rozier, you know, he's
Heat guard Terry Rozier. Yeah. For our international viewers,
right?
He plays. He's a guard for the Miami Heat. Go ahead.
$26 million a year. That breaks down to $317,500 per game. Per 48 minutes. You would ask yourself, you know, a logical question would be, why would a professional athlete in the prime of his career get himself involved with such, you know, $200,000 is a lot of money for me. It's a lot of money for 99.9% of the public.
Absolutely.
Okay. But why would a kid, okay, that is making $26 million a year, okay, get into a position, okay, to make what actually is a drop in the bucket for this kid, $200,000 on a bet? Why? I'll tell you why. And it's all going to come down. There are going to be hundreds of people implicated in this. People are going to be rolling on each other. People are going to be ratting on each other. And it's going to come out that either he, a group that he was involved with, or somebody very close with him owed bookmakers millions and millions of dollars. Okay. And the only way, you know, without, you know, going short of breaking a guy's legs, okay, is if he can, you know, if you can exploit his connection to the NBA, which you can with Rozier.
Yep. And what about, we have, as of this recording, another big name, Portland Trail Blazer coach Chauncey Billups, former Cleveland Cavalier player and assistant coach Damian Damon Jones have also been arrested. So as of now, there's a total of 34 people have been arrested as a result of it. Basically, it's been a years-long investigation.
I think it's longer than a year. I think it's
years long. It's years long, covering over 11 states, involving tens of millions of dollars.
Now, is Chauncey's charge, is his for sports gambling or is his for rigged poker games?
I think it was rigged poker games.
Okay, so Chauncey's okay. The government's really going to have to prove that he had knowledge of it and that he was an actual participant in it. But the real story here is the Rozier story and the NBA scandal. In my opinion, Joe, this is going to go so deep that, a year from now, maybe even less than a year from now, the regulatory bodies in each state are going to obviously assess this. And this is going to change the way proposition betting is offered by the sports books.
Yes.
And the limits that will be allowed, the maximum bet limits for these proposition bets. Now, as a bookmaker myself, we've been doing proposition betting for 20 years.
Yes.
Okay, we've been offering the market for 20 years. And I've had a steadfast position on this. Maximum bet amount for a non-playoff game or championship game when it comes to proposition betting is $300 US. That's the maximum bet I'll take on a proposition bet. Why? Because as a bookmaker and as a handicapper, I have absolutely no control.
Can you say that again? How much you would take, just for the viewers to understand how much?
$300 US. These guys were betting in the tens of thousands of dollars on these proposition bets. And if the story is that Rozier took himself out of a game with a faux ankle injury, okay, and the gamblers were betting under his total points scored for the game.
Okay. And to give some context on Rozier, he was arrested Thursday morning. He was at a hotel in Orlando, Florida, basically. So again, adding to your point, he was accused, obviously, he was accused of sports betting, the sports betting scheme, using insider, as you're talking about, NBA information.
Well, there you go.
It goes. They've apparently been investigating him and others for a while. So this is from ESPN.com, folks. The source: as part of the scheme, gamblers use non-public information to bet on at least 7 NBA games between March 2023 and March 2024. Involving the Charlotte Hornets, Orlando Magic, Portland Trailblazers, Los Angeles Lakers, and Toronto Raptors. This is according to the indictment of what we're getting at this time of the recording. So the defendants allegedly, when I would say allegedly, had access to private information known by NBA players or NBA coaches. So there you go. And
well, as you say, allegedly, okay, and everybody is innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
But this is going to go deep, all right? Right now, there are 30 plus, you said?
34 plus people involved. That's the time of the recording.
Okay, and I think over the next 3 to 4 months, another 50 plus will be implicated, maybe 60 plus, so it'll take it over 100. I think you're going to find coaches involved. I think you're going to find referees involved. And I think you're going to find more players.
You made a point a few minutes ago I want to emphasize to the viewers. Now, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, he was arrested in Oregon. His charge is a separate indictment for underground poker games that were backed by mafia families, according to the indictment. So I don't think Chauncey Billups is in the NBA gambling side of it, from what this looks like so far.
And that's what I alluded to at the beginning.
Yeah.
Joe.
I wanted to emphasize the point you made there.
I think Chauncey's going to be okay. But now that sports betting is legal in the United States, this goes deeper than organized crime.
Yeah.
This goes deeper than point shaving or game fixing. These proposition bets can be viewed as a commodity.
Yes.
Okay? And they're going to be charged with basically stock manipulation. They have manipulated a market. Okay, and that's what I mean by it's going to be going deeper. These prosecutors, I think, under Patel, under the
Yes.
FBI, under Patel's FBI,
Yeah.
I think these guys at this point have their
Well,
stuff together, have the indictment
yes,
together.
apparently it's been a years long. This is probably one even from the previous started in the previous regime administration.
Oh God, I think this started in 23. I think
Yes,
I think
2023. We just read it. So,
Right.
U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Joseph Nicola Jr. I hope I pronounced his last name right, folks. Called it one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States. So,
and that's
there
what
you
I
go.
meant by the SEC.
Yes.
Now that sports betting is legal in the United States,
Yes.
I would not be surprised to see a charge come in for basically stock manipulation or manipulating a market. Okay. If I were we've all had issues. I've had
Absolutely.
legal issues. Not as brazen. I was brought into a case because I was complacent. I was lazy. I didn't do KYC I was supposed to be doing. Never money laundering, but where my case, people from the United States were successful in betting with my legally licensed and bonded companies outside of the United States using a VPN. And the bottom line is that the onus was on me as the operator to prevent that. Okay.
Right.
I really never had to concern myself with doing it that way because, all my operations are either in Southeast Asia or Latin America. But somehow, some way, a small group of bettors in the San Diego area were betting out of a card club, and they were using a VPN. Okay?
Right.
They dropped the RICO charge on me because we were able to prove that they were brought into my operation or brought onto my website under false pretenses that they were in Mexico. But I was charged with a UCC 1955, which is simple bookmaking, because the onus as the operator, regardless of where I was to make sure that United States citizens could not bet with me.
Right.
Okay. And now we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars revamping our platform to make sure that that's the case. Okay.
Well,
so this is going to go deep, Joe, and
Right.
I think we've only gotten to the first couple of layers of the onion.
Yes.
I think there's 50, 60 more layers of the onion that are going to be peeled off.
Well, folks, this is a developing story. All Talk Productions and Bangkok Bookies are going to stay on top of it. Please like, subscribe, share, bang the notification bell, not only for picks, but for more stories like this.